talk through a CT brain of somebody with stroke-like symptoms. This just tells us where we are, and we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. So you've got bones outside, so cervical vertebra, spinal cord coming up through the foramen magnum, medulla, the cerebellum at the back, and you can start to see we're coming up into the pons. And the cerebellum, just make that back there, nice and midline. And as we roll through, we've got pons, cerebellum, and coming up into the brain. So just looking for any obvious changes that might indicate bleeding, which would be white pixels, blood being more dense. You would see white where there shouldn't be, and ischemic changes might not have had any changes yet. So as we roll up, no obvious white pixels that shouldn't be there. There are some calcification of the choroid plexus and the pineal gland, but as we roll our way up, nothing jumping out. Symmetry looks quite nice. Preservation of grey-white differentiation. Going all the way up, you can see the cortical matter is a different density to the myelinated axons as we get all the way up to the top. So no obvious bleeding. But if we look at the perfusion weighted scans, which I'll bring in here, and we'll go to the top, and then link them so we should stay pretty much the same level. As we roll through, you'll see that there's some signal change here, time max. So the longer it takes to hit peak oxygen, the less oxygen you're delivering, and that is perfusion. Cerebral blood flow is on this one. So there are some changes in blood flow and time to peak. Now this is the left side of the brain. As we come down, you'll see ongoing changes. And a little handy trick I use is to draw imaginary lines through the imaginary line of the ventricle and a line down the middle, and then this is the front, so anterior cerebral, this is the back, posterior cerebral, and the one in the middle is called middle, and these changes are somewhat distinctly cutting off there, so that's that cut-off line of the Mid Cerebral Artery territory on the left. So that is what we can see as ischemic territory, mid-cerebral on the left. So the person proceeded to endovascular clot retrieval. And this will be the before shot. And this will be the after. Just enlarge these a bit. Bring them a bit closer together. So we have here after the next day the time of clot retrieval, more blood vessels in this vicinity than you can see here. So even as you roll through, lots more blood vessels and a distinct patch that's lacking in blood flow there. If we roll back, and we trace these back all the way, you'll see there is a point here that the blood vessel ends abruptly, and so that was where the blockage is. This is left mid-cerebral artery, allegedly M2, but I don't know how to tell that, and it's been unplugged and looks pretty good restoration of blood flow. So let's get back to where we saw the summary of images, which tells us this is the vicinity of left mid-cerebral artery. And let's look at the next day brain. Should be about here. If we get up to the same place, it's very subtle changes of density here. So this bit of brain is more like CSF, more water here than there, and different to there. So more water is inflammatory changes, and those inflammatory changes are because of ischemia, and the ischemia is the lack of blood flow, and the ischemia was caused by a blockage of the mid cerebral artery M2 branch. So very subtle changes here, and we know if we look for them that we are finding them. If we go all the way to the top, we are also looking for grey-white preservation, which is normal. Coming down, loss of grey-white differentiation through here, so you can see cortex is different to white matter. And through here, there's some loss of grey-white differentiation, and through there, and then a loss of the sulci and gyre to some degree, so something space-occupying in this area. But again, no obvious white pixels that shouldn't be there, no obvious hemorrhagic transformation. And another good image to always look at is in the coronal. Let's get to about here. And you can see this area has a different look to this area in terms of grey-white differentiation. And this sylvan fissure, which is about here, is quite squashed with a mass effect of that swelling. Sometimes it's only subtle, but this shape here is not preserved there, and that's the insula, so it's squashed from that side. Sometimes you get subtle basal ganglia changes here.